Question. What do you get when you mix the workloader from Alien with Roberta the Terminator? You get Morvenn Vahl, Spear of Faith by Drew Reed. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I've got a galaxy's worth of Black Library books to read and review, and you gotta be there for the journey. Also, I haven't made a video in a little while. The holidays plus working on my other channel got me distracted. Plus, I'll be putting in double time on this channel to try to catch up with these tithe quotas, so let's get ready to stand in midnight clad. So I came across this book, Morvenn Vahl, Spear of Faith, because of this comment. So naturally I'm thinking, wow, badass Night Lords, sign me the fuck up. I might be wrong, but I feel like this is a conspiracy to get me to read some real loyalist propaganda right now. It's okay because the Chaos Space Marines are my favorite faction and I'll read about any 40k book, but like you have to understand, coming from a trader's point of view, this was like definitely a fluff piece for the good guys. It's a good book, but you know I'm salty anytime the Night Lords lose, and I have a feeling I'm going to be real salty in the past and future because losing is kind of the Night Lords thing. Morvenn Vahl is a book about the Abbess Sanctorum, Morvenn Vahl. She's a sister of the Argent Shroud and a High Lord of Terra, making her pretty much the highest ranking sister in the Imperium. I haven't seen a sister this high ranked since Mother Teresa, and she didn't even have a bolter this enormous. In this book, she's on a journey to defeat the Death of Saints, a Night Lord who returns every so often to troll the Argent Shroud and kill any saints he can get his terrible, ginormous claws on. He's also trying to mount their heads on his trophy rack, a bunch of spikes that sits on his backpack. And there's one trophy in particular that he's looking for, the skull of Saint Athenea, martyred saint, and his twin sister. And they engage on a battle on the cardinal world of Ophelia. And with the future of the Argent Shroud on the line, the Abbess Sanctorum has to step up. So I'm gonna tell you what I liked about the book. So first and foremost, Drew Reed is a serious poet. Despite anything plot related in this book, her writing style is top tier, and I'll recommend the book just off of that alone. So the famous Emma Gregory, she knocks it out of the park as usual. All the voices she chose for each character were so vibrant and fitting, and I can actually tell the difference between all of the female leads, unlike you are, martyred lady. Even the various Night Lords and Black Templars had really good voices, especially the Death of Saints. He had this grisly kind of dialogue that only enhanced his amazing stature. Emma Gregory's badass. She completely brought the book together and she deserves the highest props I can give. The 8th Legion are true to their stealthy ways and fear tactics, and they have a pretty good amount of infighting and betrayal as usual. But this is what I love about the boys in Midnight Blue. Even the sisters were impressed by their ingenuity. Vahl herself was cool. It took some time for her to grow on me as a character. At first I saw her kind of as a Mary Sue in the beginning, but after a while I saw that she was a character that was capable of making mistakes and was prone to her own emotions at times, and that made me like her more. There were parts of the book where I just thought she actually might die or become martyred, since she was kind of like hinting at being jealous of some of the martyrs and saints. So there was some emotional investment there, or maybe the Night Lords fan in me just wanted to see her die. The Lords of the Night are awesome as always. The Death of Saints is a badass monster. He's got some of the best dialogue in the book. I love his backstory and his style. He certainly is a cruel son of a bitch. He's running around there with a freaking Helldrake, and he's ruling the Night Lords by fear. But by the 4, he's a good ass villain. And I know it's evil, but I was for sure cheering for him the whole time, though I know the fate of 99% of Night Lord's villains. They get fucked up. His name is Raguel, actually. Him and Athenea, his twin sister, their backstories were some of the most interesting parts of the book. The living Athenea only really appears in these parts of the book, and it was great to see what type of people she and her twin brother were and what circumstances led them down their opposite paths, becoming avatars of light and darkness. The High Lords of Terra were great. I've never really been privy to any of their meetings as a reader, but I love the politics and the pettiness that their different personalities offered. And it makes me kind of want to go check out the Watchers of the Throne series, because I do believe that there are some High Lords in there. The sisters' relationship with the Black Templars was good to see. We got a little bit of this in our Martyred Lady, but we didn't get too much of it. It was really more Inquisitor Greyfax trying to get along with the Black Templars, because she's just hard to get along with in general. So when you see them only interact with the sisters, you see that their relationship is actually pretty good. They're like brother sister legion, in my opinion. Even though the sisters are not genetically altered space freaks or anything like that, they have a lot in common with the Black Templar. The Black Templar seem less psycho than what I was led to believe from some of the memes and things like that. I don't know if it's just because the memes are that powerful in the community, or if it's because they were standing right next to the sisters and it's hard to look crazy standing next to these ladies. So Leafy was my favorite character in the whole novel. She's a Repentia who claimed her freedom from her overseer when the war started and the Death of Saints attacked. She became the subordinate of that horrible Night Lord after he saw her murder her overseer, and she went on to have one of the best adventures in the novel. In my humble opinion, she's probably the whole reason you even want to check out this book. She's a character that was unexpected, and I didn't expect to actually be standing behind her this much. She was that human point of view character that was just there to remind us that the Imperium creates its own demons, metaphorically and literally, by being such a cruel and unforgiving regime all the time. It's not like the Night Lords treat her much better. I still think it's crazy though, as a whole, to see a Night Lord and be like, well, anything's got to be better than these goddamn nuns. I also cheered on Leafy the whole time and never regretted doing so. So now where I have to inevitably talk about the things that I was not so fond of in the book. I would say that the dialogue between the sisters was not that remarkable. The battles and the characters were there, but I just found the sisters kind of boring in the grand scheme of the universe. I wouldn't say that I was bored necessarily with the book, but I wasn't hanging on their every word or something. Vahl's dialogue was not super impressive either. There's some good stuff in there, but it's your usual sister stuff. Faith this, sacrifice that, sent for the Emperor. The sisters also weren't that memorable either. They all have this very similar personality of being tough and stoic, but worried and standoffish all the same. And these are baseline humans. I find it strange that the Loyalist Space Marines have more personality. And I don't think it's just the faction, because I really enjoyed the dialogue in Faith and Fire. Maybe the dialogue just seems standard because the Night Lords are hanging out over there and having far more interesting conversations involving chainswords and hell brutes. This is the spoiler part of the video. It's got a bit more sensitive subject if you want to read the book for yourself. Skip to the rating portion if you want to finish this book fresh. The ending was about what I expected. Vahl and the Death of Saints have a fair one, but it's not really, because a bunch of untrained zealots act as a distraction. It's not my favorite way for one of the coolest Night Lords to go out, but once again, likely my own bias. Leafy managed to get out, and she's running around sowing chaos by herself, so that's very interesting and very gratifying. Vahl goes back to the High Lords of Terra, and she lets them know what she did, and she had to do it without their help or approval. They want to reprimand her, but the big man himself, Rabute Gilliman, is there, and he gives her the stamp of approval. What a big ass freaking cameo. True, I was cheering on the villains the whole time, but this moment was awesome. And you know I love me some Rowboat G-Man. I love Primarchs in general, but I'm so glad to see Girlyman back again. So I've got 2 scores this time. I have my biased score and I have my unbiased score. So I'm just gonna go completely unbiased. I give this book an 8 out of 10. Give it 8 out of 10 Repentious. I really enjoyed it. I'm just trying to take off, I just gotta take off some points for some of that bland dialogue. And it had like somewhat of a predictable ending, so I took off 2 points just for that. But besides that, it's all around a very, very good and entertaining book, especially if you don't know much about the sisters. Now with all my bias, I'm gonna give this thing a 6, because like the Death of the Saints, he didn't get like a big flashy death, and Morvenn survives, and I know it's silly and naive to expect the Sons of Curse to win in a book that they're not on the cover of, but hell, it's naive to expect them to win in their own books. But I guess that's just the hopeless romantic villain in me. Thanks for watching the video. Tell me what you thought about Spear of Faith. Let me know if you come across any more sick Night Lords or any more must-read sisters books. Just recommend any books to me in general that you think I'd like, because I likely will review it on the channel. Even if I've read it already, I might go back and do reviews for books that I've already read, or see if I can recall the plot and read it again, something interesting like that. But anyway, until next time, this is Ave Dominus Noob saying Ave Dominus Nox.